And we are racing at Richmond. Christian Eckes out front. Ty Majeski slips back and loses his spot to Grant Enfinger.
Nice break there by Christian Eckes, and I don't think, I don't know if maybe Majeski wasn't quite ready for that break, Phil.
Yeah, how about Taylor Gray going to make it 3 wide here inside? He's got his teammate, William Sawalich, in the middle, and Lane Riggs, the 38, on the outside, that yellow truck.
How about Christian Eckes, his 4th time here at Richmond, first time he's ever led.
Well, he's led a lot this year, though.
That's right, but not here. He's marking them off.
Every single race this year.
Yes, he has.
Led.
He's been incredible.
So fun to watch these kids right before our eyes, Phil, develop in the truck series. You know, you get to catch them in ARCA and on the short tracks, but when they come truck racing, you go, oh, there's contact.
Ben Rhodes just ahead of Corey Heim in the 11, and Daniel Dye is all over it.
I think Ben Rhodes got into Nick Sanchez.
Yeah. Nice pictures here from the 43 truck of Daniel. Corey Heim wasn't his normal self.
Ooh.
Wow, look at this action.
Sanchez sideways at the start-finish line. Here's that contact we were talking about.
Nick shut the door, and Ben said, I'm already in there, buddy.
I don't think Ben had any choice but to nudge him a little bit.
Come inside, let your pressures come up here.
There's another view of it from Daniel Dye's onboard.
You hear the spotter, he said, let your pressures come up here. Tire pressures, getting the tires, some heat in them is important. They start them as low as they can, so when they build up, they still have ultimate grip.
That was a battle for 8th. Corey Heim, the 11, just got by that 2 of Sanchez for the 8th spot.
I'm going to be really interested in, after watching practice earlier today and conditions changing so dramatically, where this 11 truck does go, because it wasn't a great practice earlier today, but he's got such a knack for getting it done when it matters.
See the 88 and Matt Crafton, and we talked about the playoffs looming here. This is the 9th year that we've had the playoff system. He has made all 8 years. 3-time champion. What a disappointment it would be to see him miss it. But right now he's on the outside looking in. 43 points back when we drop the green flag, Phil. But basically, if he can win this thing, that's all he needs to do.
Well, don't you think after all that many years and that many starts, we should grandfather him into the playoffs? And I don't mean that he's a grandfather. Don't get me wrong.
I was talking to Matt Crafton just ahead of this race, and he said, I have absolutely nothing to lose. It is win or bust for me. He said that he made the bad call in qualifying to put their team a little bit back in track position to kick off this race, but he said this season it just simply won't stop bleeding. I hope that our favors turn around here tonight.
And you know, Phil, I would call Matt a bottom feeder. He really likes to eat the bottom of the racetrack, right on that yellow line. And if his truck will do that, he can pass a lot of trucks that way. And I think I'm seeing early in the going here that he is able to run extremely low. As you see a couple of trucks ahead of him there, Roger Carruth and Ty Dillon battling.
That's Connor Hall, the 91, making his Truck Series debut. He's the Cars Tour point leader this year. Looks like he's going to ease down there and maybe try to block the 88 of Matt Crafton.
Matt Crafton will say, I don't know who you are, but I'll show you that you don't do that to me too many times. Now that's cost Matt Crafton his momentum, and Mills is coming.
Both Matts.
That pair of Matts battling.
And we've got 3 Connors in the field. Connor Hall, you mentioned making his debut. Really impressive earlier today. Started 21st, races in the Cars Series, a Cars Series champion, late model stock champ, but he wants to go truck racing. Doing a nice job so far in that 91 truck.
I think right now he's holding up Crafton. We talked about Crafton. Michael mentioned Crafton at the top of the show. He had a great run here last year. Same tires, same car, same trucks. So good opportunity for Crafton maybe to have good. How about that 7 truck of Zilish on the outside making passes? Brand new to this. 1 truck start to his career, and that was at COTA, and he sat on the pole, set a new track record, finished 4th.
And he went back to the front about 4 different times. I don't know how many trucks he passed. I think it was 50 something. Ended up finishing 4th that day, and he is coming through in that 7 truck on the outside with a full head of steam.
I love the fact that that young driver was not afraid to try that second groove and see if there was some grip there, and I think he found some.
And I think it'll be interesting to see if he burns his tires off. We know how these things go away here at Richmond, and he's sliding sideways and eating up some fresh asphalt up there. We'll see if his tires can take it.
This young man has so much to look forward to. You know, he just carries himself with that confidence. And heck, after the big announcement this week, I would too. He's going Xfinity racing full-time for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He'll run the 88 car. Actually, we'll see him in about 4 races in the Xfinity Series this year. So a lot coming up for Connor Village. Christian Eckes continues to lead over Ty Majeski from Richmond Raceway. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Racing from Richmond is right as we stepped aside to go to break. Ty Majeski took over the lead, and you did not miss it. The truck is coming to life.
It is. He's opened up over a second on Eckes right now. Lap after lap, if not the fastest, close to the fastest truck on the racetrack.
Corey Himes currently 7th, just ahead of Daniel Dye there. You see Nick Sanchez. Listen to those guys just pedaling those things, trying to get them up off the corner.
Let's get an update on Daniel Dye. Josh.
Well, Jamie, it has been a stressful week for Daniel Dye entering this race 5 points out of that final playoff spot. But after practice today, he told me it does him no good to be nervous, to be stressed. He can only control what he can control, and that's running his race. So he said through the first 2 stages, I don't want to know what the 15 or the 52 are doing, the guys he's racing for those final spots. He says we'll reevaluate when we get to stage 3. Let me run my race early, do what I need to do, and the rest will take care of itself. Amanda?
Well, Josh, the 52 is currently 4 positions back from Daniel Dye, and just ahead of this race, as crew chief told him, hey, tonight is what it is. You have worked hard all season for us, and I thank you. Ahead of this race, Stuart Friesen had similar sentiment, saying that they have made improvements all season long, that they now have the best foundation that they have found so far this season, and they can only go up from here.
Yeah, that's a great point on Stuart Friesen. Restructuring in the offseason, brought over Jimmy Villeneuve, the crew chief, and they said, we just restarted. We just built things up from scratch, and it took them about halfway through this regular season, and now they've just been turning it out, turning more top 10s than not.
Yeah, just had such a tough race at IRP. I think it was a 4-point night for Stuart Friesen. He's probably averaging 30-some points a race. Only 4 points, had a 33rd place finish. And he finds himself coming in here 16 points below the cut line. Just an average night at IRP, and he's well above the cut line.
Some sort of mechanical issue on that 52 truck. He had issues all night long. Currently rolling in the 14th spot. Seen some nice moves up on the top by some trucks. Majeski, though, is the one that's moving. And I think he's kind of put it in cruise control a bit, Phil. Last time by, he was only the 5th fastest truck on the racetrack, but yet he's stretching that lead out to over a second and a half over Christian Eckes.
Yeah, he knows he's got 44 laps to go on this set of tires. Certainly don't want to change these tires prematurely, so then get out to a good cushion where if you get in a little lap traffic and you lose a little time, it's not going to put Christian Eckes right on your rear tailgate. You got a little comfort there.
But yes, we've heard this in after practice. The drivers are all saying you got to be conservative. You got to really take care of these tires. I know you want to be aggressive, but I just don't think this racetrack is a place where that's going to work too well.
26 laps in, the biggest mover of the race so far, that young man, Connor Zilic, up 8 spots. Talked to his crew chief, Brian Patty, earlier today, and I said, what's the advice you give your young driver? Just the second race out, the first oval in a truck. He said, let the truck do the work. Don't make any mistakes. Tire management is going to be key. And I know you talked about that, Phil. He went hard early. Yeah,
no, I think he just stabilized right now. He got by Matt Mills. Now Matt has been able to get by him. But right now we see Connor Zilic. That's his teammate right in front of him, Raja Caruth. Raja has been solid all year long. Obviously won that race early on in Las Vegas to qualify for the playoffs. But right now Connor Zilic is really doing a nice job running with his team.
And that's the battle for 18th. Meanwhile, Ty Majeski continues to stretch it out. Almost 2-second lead over Christian Eckes. Grant Enfinger hangs in third, Taylor Gray and Lane Riggs. More from Richmond after this. Thursday night, baseball is on FS1 as Corey Seager and the Rangers welcome Carlos Santana and the Twins. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app.
Baseball is coming to NASCAR. How about that?
Here it is, the Speedway Classic announced yesterday out there.
That's you. That was you.
That
Chipper
was
Jones.
Chipper Jones. I got to interview Chipper Jones, talked a little baseball for the first time in my career. But yes, you see it there, Cincinnati Reds, Atlanta Braves going head-to-head during the season next year, August 2nd, 2025, and it will be on Fox.
This is going to be the
That's going to be
coolest.
so much fun.
Now
Isn't it?
watch this.
How about that?
Phil, that floor, the stadium floor is about the top of the wall. That's how high it's going to be up so that they can have that baseball field in that Coliseum, in the great Coliseum in Bristol.
MLB working with Bristol Motor Speedway. They came up with this concept. It's going to be awesome. Chase Elliott was out there. Of course, he's a Braves fan, so that'll be fun. Fun for him to root for his team. Meanwhile, back at Richmond Raceway here, Ty Majeski continues to lead over 2.5 seconds. Christian Eckes behind him, Grant Enfinger. Let's get an update on the Gray brothers. Josh.
Well, after Nick Sanchez and Rajat Group picked up their first career wins earlier this season, Taylor Gray was the next young guy in line to get that win, but it's been a tough stretch as of the last 6 races. He finished outside the top 10 in 5 of the last 6 races. He told me, we know the team has been struggling as of late. We've been working hard in the shop. We have been searching, but Richmond is a really good track for him. Finished inside the top 10 in the trucks last year. Earlier this year in the Xfinity Series, a 3rd place finish as well. So the team is very confident heading into tonight. He can lock up that playoff spot tonight, and right now, running in the 4th position, Amanda.
Josh, we talked about the brakes issue in qualifying that affected Tanner Gray and started him with a track position towards the rear of this grid. He has made up a couple of positions up until 23 right now, but I was talking to Tanner earlier today about sharing this journey with his brother Taylor, who is currently in the playoffs, and just how proud he was of Taylor for his growth in the CRAFTSMAN Truck Series. But towards the end of the conversation, their grandfather, Johnny Gray, spoke up and he said, just make sure that it is known that Tanner whips his little brother on the golf course.
Well, Amanda talked about Tanner Gray. He's back in 23rd. Let's listen in on the radio.
This is all I got. I'm loose. I have no rear grip. Copy loose. The 35 is not a terrible lap. It's a top 10 capable lap.
And you know, the concern is getting lapped. I mean, he's only a couple of trucks ahead of our leader. That Majeski's just ripping through the field.
He needs a caution right now, really, within the next few laps.
There's 3 trucks between he and Majeski that he has cushion as Majeski battles those trucks, but there's still 28 laps left in this stage, so he's going to get lapped if the caution doesn't fly.
Yeah, that's Ty Dillon. He's chasing down the white truck on the outside.
Just listen to this. Listen to his foot. Listen how easy he is on the gas, and watch his hands. I mean, just squeezing that gas.
Like there's an egg below the throttle pedal, isn't it?
Ty Majeski, a lot of traffic around him, maneuvering his way.
Getting around the 77 of Chase Purdy. The 56 of Timmy Hill is next on the hit list for Ty Majeski.
And there's the 56. Beautiful red and black truck. You see Dean Thompson, he's just up there. And then after Thompson, it's Gray.
So 45 laps into this first stage. Stage ends lap 70. Second stage ends at lap 140. And then 110 laps in the final stage to get us to 250 total laps for this evening.
Yeah, all those drivers like Tanner Gray are really, really happy that Ty Majeski got blocked in there by the lap truck of Keith McGee. See Timmy Hill doing his best to stay in front of that 90.
And I think our strategy is pretty straightforward in these first 2 stages, Phil. You run to the brake and get your tires. And if you're at home watching, you think, oh, the rest of it would be simple too, right? Wrong. When we go into that 3rd stage, these guys are going to flip the script and try to do something different than the folks leading.
If we get a green flag run in that 3rd stage like we did last year, I was talking to Jeff Hensley today, and he said you will gain 13 seconds by stopping under green midway through that 3rd stage by the end of the race. 13 seconds. He said you might push it a couple laps later and not lose too much time, but 13 seconds would be the gain on the racetrack.
You know, a lot of times the calls back in the day would come from the seat of the pants of the crew chief. He would just have a feeling of what they needed to do. They have every move scienced out about how to go about attacking this race.
Let's listen in to Stuart Friesen's radio.
F0 straightaway speed. All I do is spin the tires up off. This is bad.
Not what you want to hear from Stuart Friesen, who's trying to battle his way into the playoffs.
And that's a truck just struggling to stay inside the top 20. You can see just ahead of him there, Connor Hall, the 91, and then out back, Jake Garcia's closing in on Stuart Friesen.
And we were talking during commercial as we see a battle for third. Taylor Gray, the 17, trying to get around the 9 of Grant Enfinger. That's how competitive this truck field is. It's hard to run in the top 20. You've got great trucks, so we have a great battle for that third spot.
Nice move by Gray. He was able to get below Enfinger. Now he's going to get caught up behind Lawless Allen, but he's going to make that move as well. Good driving here for Taylor.
And Lane Riggs right there as well in a 38 truck. That is third, fourth, and fifth on that inside line.
Great truck early on for Taylor. Gray picks up that extra spot. That moves him into third. With 20 laps to go in stage number 1, Ty Majeski continues to lead Christian Eckes. Caution is out here at Richmond Raceway for the first time, where Matt Mills went hard into the outside turn 3 wall. He brings it down pit road.
I've been watching Matt. He really had a pretty solid truck. Got by a lot of pretty good trucks. Got up into the, right around that 15th spot.
Looked like the right front was,
yeah, without it, either broke something or cut down the right front, Michael. You're exactly right.
I think he had a flat right front.
Yeah.
Took him into the outside wall. Solid run here a year ago, too. Top 5 for Mills, so this is disappointing.
He was running right there with Connor Hall, and Connor Hall is in the 15th spot right there, so Matt was doing a nice job.
Now what do you do, Phil? I said we were going to run to the end of the stage, but now I think, depending on your point situation, how bad you need those stage points, that's will dictate who does what here.
Yeah, I think, we've lost over 2 seconds of lap time. So if you stay on the racetrack and say the top 10 stay on the racetrack and 11th comes in, he's probably going to win the stage. The guy on the left is probably going to win the stage because his truck will be so much faster with those new tires.
I think you almost got a pit.
I think you do too.
And then hope another one falls at some point. Another caution. See what happens.
Let's see what Majeski, he's going to be the first guy here. If pit road is open.
I don't think
it's definitely open.
Green up.
See the green light on the inside wall there. That
Here they
tells
come.
you it's open. Taylor Gray, the first taker. Christian Eckes, a little mixed bag here.
Let me tell you why I'm laughing, Jamie. This is going to be so fun. We're gonna have an exciting 10 laps at the end of the stage, Josh.
And let's start with the 17 of Taylor Gray, making some moves before that caution came out. He said he needs to fire off a little better with more grip. Those tires should help out with that. As far as the 19 of Christian Eckes, he said that truck needs more adjustments. We know he wasn't happy going into the race. 3 in, 3 off, tight through the center. They're going to try and help him out as well, maybe.
Here's Daniel Dye going to come in for 4 tires. See Christian Eckes wins the battle off pit road of the trucks that came down pit road.
This is going to be wild.
Rajah Caruth still in the pits. Daniel Dye goes by. Here comes Crafton.
It's under caution for this moment right here. Matt Mills hard into the wall, brought out our first caution and round of stops. Welcome back to the Clean Harbors 250, still under caution for the first time tonight. So we saw the mixed bag for pit stops. First 3 trucks decided to stay out, Majeski, Ankrum, and Zilich. The question is, do they hang on or do they fall outside the top 10 in this?
They're going to fall. They're going to drop like flies.
And it's going to be crazy. 3-wide action. Nutty restart right here coming up.
I love how you sold it, Mikey. Amanda.
Jamie, and Ty Majeski knew it immediately. He was the first to make that decision whether to hit pit road, and he immediately said, I am so sorry, guys. I did confirm with Joe Shear Jr. that they did make that decision collectively, but just ahead of this race, I talked to Ty Majeski about the mistakes last year, and he said, yeah, we found a couple of ways to lose it here last year, so you can only imagine the frustration in Ty Majeski. I can definitely see it in the team here.
Well, he's definitely going to lose this stage, but he's going to have fresher tires in the competition in a minute, so there's the bright side to it.
Green flag back in the air, 7 laps to go in stage number 1. Look at Grant Enfinger to the inside. There's Connor Zilich in the 7, trying to hang on those older tires.
3 wide around the top goes Eckes for the lead.
And Majeski has nothing to fight back with.
Grant Enfinger dives in on him. Here comes Lane
4
Riggs.
wide behind him.
Here comes Matt Crafton, high, wide, and handsome.
You said it, Michael. Nutty, all over the place.
Crazy. Ooh, contact between the 18 of Ankrum and Honeycutt.
Look at that, still 3 wide, just dropping like rocks.
Tyler Ankrum continues to fall back. One of those trucks that stayed out. Five to go now in stage number 1. Christian Eckes retakes the lead. Taylor Gray behind him, Grant Enfinger, Ben Rhodes, and Lane Riggs, your top 5.
And that's a long 5 laps to that 98 right there of Majeski and Ankrum and Zilich. A long 5 laps.
You look at that scoring pilot on the left side of your TV and you just see the name slipping
smoking.
all the way
It's smoking.
down.
Well, the only thing I can say positive is you know how important tires are, and they're going to have fresher tires when we go back racing after the end of these next 3 laps.
So you're saying there's a silver lining for those
If I'm Joe Shear, I'm selling the heck out of that. So you're going to go right back through them like they came through you, buddy.
Talked about Matt Crafton trying to race his way into the playoffs with the outside chance. Staying in the top 10 tonight, 7th right now.
Solid run, just like a year ago. See if he can get an adjustment, make this thing better yet.
We talked about Ty Majeski, restarted first, fell back now to 18th. Connor Zilich, 20th, and Tyler Ankrum just ahead of him in the 19th spot.
This is going to be huge for Taylor Gray, though. Remember, came in here. We said you could write his name in pen, making it to the playoffs. He might be able to do it right here after this first stage.
And it might be the same for the regular season championship for that 19 truck. Get these stage points and put that out of reach. And now he can do what he said. I'm going to go focus on winning this championship.
Final lap is stage number 1. Does Taylor Gray have enough time to reel in Christian Eckes to get this stage win? Half a second separates these two. Green and white checker in the air for Christian Eckes as he picks up stage win number 1 tonight.
Majeski dropped back to the 18th position, Ankrum 19th, and Zilich 20th.
Kind of where they were, except for Majeski before they came down pit road, or pit road was open.
I think they even actually lost a little ground. It did not work. But again, as Michael said, they're going to have about 7 laps,
or 8.
7 or 8 laps fresher tires than these other drivers, and that's going to show up on the racetrack.
It won't be as dramatic as we just saw there, but it's definitely going to be an advantage. They'll drive back up in the top 10, I think, pretty quickly, especially Majeski.
Yeah.
So you see it there, Christian Eckes, Taylor Gray, Grant Enfinger, Ben Rhodes with the 4th there. Lane Riggs hangs on to the top 5. And our boy Daniel Dye doing a great job. Came in with a bunch of nerves, trying to make the playoffs for the first time in his young career.
What about Daniel Dye? Gets 6th place in this stage. That's good points for him. You talked about the battle around the bubble. Phil, you are all about the bubble battle.
The bubble battle.
And we're seeing a lot of guys that needed those points get them. Taylor Gray, Daniel Dye.
Yeah, Tanner Gray doesn't get any points. Stuart Friesen doesn't get any stage points.
Ben Rhodes is living life. You know how good he gets this time of year. And he's just padding that, getting himself more and more pads so he knows he's going to go playoff racing. He got that 4th place finish in this stage.
Well, Ben Rhodes, both years he won the championship. I mean, he didn't really come on strong until about the midway point of the regular season or a little bit later.
We'd actually, the last time, you know, when he won last year, we actually had almost written him off, thinking he was not going to, you know, not going to contend for that championship. You can see our stage 1 results and the points. You see Ben Rhodes got 7 points and Daniel Dye 5 points. Critical points for these drivers.
Remember Christian Eckes hoping to pick up that regular season championship.
Here's that beautiful number 19 leading the race. What a drive it's been for Taylor Gray too in that 17. Fast truck tonight.
Grant Enfinger has been solid, been up in the top 5 all night long. Matt Crafton, as you mentioned, again solid just like he was here last year.
Here comes those 3 guys. Tires, please, tires. Right away, Amanda.
And Connor Zilic makes his way down pit road. It's the first time that he is racing the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series at a short track. He was telling me about the relationship with Brian Patty and how the communication between this team is really being able to him adjust into this. You can see them getting those 4 tires right now. And as we move on to the 98, Ty Majeski, David Pepper was just off camera saying we sure do find many ways to make this interesting out here. But 4 tires for Ty Majeski to get back to the front, Josh.
A little miscommunication for the 18. They were supposed to pit when everybody else did, but either way, they feel they have a really good long run truck. Just need a little help on the short run.
See that tire that got away there?
Unfortunately, we're hearing it's came from Majeski,
no.
the 98. He already talked about how many ways we figured how to screw this up. Watch that. That tire was supposed to roll towards pit wall. Obviously, it flipped around. That will necessitate a penalty. He will have to restart this race from the tail of the longest line, but that's not unprecedented for Ty Majeski.
He's come back before.
It's going to be fun to watch, that's for sure. But that's the man so far, Christian Eckes, 8th stage win of the season. Can he hang on? Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, live from Richmond Raceway. What a gorgeous night. It's warm, it's a little steamy, but it's been great so far as we're one stage in, 2 stages remain, and congratulations are in order for that man right there. Christian Eckes officially clinches the regular season championship. That means 15 extra bonus points he'll just put in the little briefcase and carry that on to the playoffs.
Yeah, he'll get a trophy, which is nice, but I think he wants those 15 playoff points more.
That's what it's all about. And how about the man behind him? 19-year-old Taylor Gray, congratulations to him. He just clinched a spot in the playoffs for the first time. This is his first full-time year. He's old enough to run all the races, so he's just done an incredible job. Let's listen to his radio, what they had to say.
Just to give you a little update on the points, but that put us 52 points to the cut. Doesn't change a thing. We keep running our race here. You keep doing your thing. We'll count the points when it's over with. Copy.
Don't you just love the veteran Jeff Hensley? Let's just worry about that later. And I'm going to tell you what I think. I think this kid can win the race, and that's what he's going to be all about. You got to take care of business. Go win the race, and you'll get all those points.
But he's also smart enough to know that 52 points locks him in, too, into the playoffs. So he knows that as well. Jeff just didn't have to come out and say it.
He's keeping him hungry.
That's right.
To the end. Let's pick up the win while we're at it,
they
guys.
want that win, too. They desperately want that win.
Well, they haven't done that yet, so what a moment it would be if they could pull that off here. So that picks up our 8th spot, Phil. So that means 2 remaining to move on to the playoffs.
And a lot of racing to go.
Yes, we do. So Christian Eckes chooses the inside. Taylor Gray on the outside. Grant Enfinger, Ben Rhodes behind him. Green flag back in the air for stage number 2.
Another nice jump by Eckes. Good battle though for second with Grant Enfinger, the 9, trying to grab that second spot from Taylor Gray.
Yeah, Grant kind of faded in that first stage, but it looks like maybe the adjustments they made to that truck are paying off. He's strong right now. Look just behind Gray. There's Lane Riggs in that yellow truck.
He's a question mark to me. He's so good at this style of track. Been picking up the top 5s on the short tracks. This is 3/4 of a mile, and we expected top 5 from him.
Ben Rhodes is heating him up, though, in that 99 truck.
There's Corey Heim and Daniel Dye right behind them side by side. Those 2 red trucks.
What a night for those 2. We've worried about Heim a little bit after practice. He's proven that he has a truck he can win with. And Daniel Dye, again, another solid run for the 43.
Yeah, you give Scott Zipadelli and Corey Heim a little bit of time to work on that truck, and they're going to make it better.
5-time winners already on the season. Corey Heim 6th now. Daniel Dye in the 43. Just his 2nd full-time year. Looking to make the playoffs. Just improving every race. He was just really impressed all of us, I think, at Nashville, and just the confidence that he carried in that race. Proving to himself he could do it.
That's right. Good battle right here between Sanchez and the 2 and Raja Caruth in the 71. Remember, these 2 drivers locked themselves in way early on in the season. Nick Sanchez as early as February when he won at Daytona.
Ty Dillon way behind early. He's made up that ground and in the top 10 now.
Oh, Ty Majeski. Look ahead how things have changed from stage 1 when he led all those laps. Now he's mired back in traffic.
You know, I think, oh, look at there, tire slide there for the 32 of Holmes. And there's a little bit of a tag from Majeski. I think if I'm Majeski, the veteran that he is, he's seen this mess before, Phil. I'm being patient. He knows these guys are just setting ducks when he can get the track clear to pass them. But right now, got to kind of take your time and don't heat up your tires. Just run some conservative laps, make it pass a time a lap, and get on your way.
Remember, he's back here in dirty air too. That truck didn't see much dirty air until that restart prior to the end of stage 1.
We've had 2 lap leaders tonight. Ty Majeski has led 51 laps. Christian Eckes 34 and counting.
What a block by Chase Purdy.
The blocks these drivers do, that's just quite amazing, actually.
Yeah, it kind of gets on my nerves a little because, I mean, that was just uncalled for to be that far back in the pack and chopping a guy off like that. You know, but as a driver, Phil, you know this. If you block a guy, you know you open yourself up to get hit. So you have half responsibility. If you do it and you get wrecked, it's your fault.
That's exactly right.
William Sawalich in the one truck. The meat in that sandwich is Ty Majeski. Tries to pick off another spot and get around him. That's a battle for 20th.
Lisa Massey doing a nice job. That 0-2 truck.
Hanging right in there.
Yeah, with Ty Majeski.
You can see, though, when Ty sees an opportunity, he just pounces. And he's able to make those moves with aggression. What a good turn there for Massey in that 0-2.
So Brett Holmes, that 32 truck inside of Chase Purdy in the 77.
Connor Zilic, nice battle with his teammate. Raja Karuth on the outside.
Remember, a little bit fresher tires on Zilic's truck.
As on Ty Dillon's, and he's driven all the way up inside the top 10 in that 25. So we talked about the advantage, the slight advantage they'll have, and we're being able to see that now. That tight pocket truck back there.
Yeah, a lot of drivers that stopped when Majeski did have made much more advancement than he has. I think he's just riding around right now.
Had to start in the back with that tire
putting
issue.
laps in. Yeah, exactly. Had to stop right even behind the lap trucks where those other drivers did not have to.
Ben Rhodes with the new sponsor, the Stampede, on board. Let's get an update, Amanda.
Yeah, prior to that caution, when he came in and took those 4 tires, Ben Rhodes was telling his team that this truck started off great, but it keeps getting looser and looser, so we'll keep an eye on that. But Ben was talking about this playoff and how he's after those premium stage points. He talked about his season and said, while there's been a lot of valleys, I'm hoping I can find some peaks here. But as the crew is telling him, you are doing excellent on these exits. Please take care of those rear tires, Ben.
He is doing
well,
everything.
The day didn't start off well. Sorry there, Mikey, but the day didn't start off well for the 13 of Jake Garcia. Had a fender rub during qualifying, so they started deep in the field. But the man on top of the pit box for the 13, none other than Rich Lucius, who's had his back against the wall in so many different scenarios with Ben Rhodes, the 2-time champion, over the years. And when I talked to him earlier today, he said, I have a lot of different strategies playing out for today. He's like, depending on how this thing goes, I have different scenarios, different ways I want to play this. So keep an eye on how things play out for the 13 and what Rich Lucius does atop that pit box to get his driver in a must-win position.
I love what Rich Lucius, what he does and the calls he makes. But, you know, we talked about it earlier, that these guys don't just make these judgment calls by the seat of their pants. He has strategies, but he has multiple for different scenarios that they are currently in at the moment that the caution comes out.
And they thought about it for 3 weeks since our last race at IRP.
That's right. Well, Christian Eckes continues to lead them here at Richmond Raceway. Welcome back to the Clean Harbors 250. Nice battle. Battle's all over, but Christian Eckes under pressure from Grant Enfinger. Saw him, he was strong early, kind of faded a bit, and now he's come back on.
He is right there on Christian Eckes, and Taylor Gray, the orange truck right behind him, is not far either. That's first, second, and third. They've opened up a little bit of a gap over that yellow truck right there of Lane Riggs in fourth.
Enfinger is the only former winner in the field.
See Keith McGee in the 22 truck sliding up out of the way. And here comes Corey Heim checking Ben Rhodes for tough.
Making slow and steady progress, does Corey Heim.
Ooh, look at that crossover there. A nice run off the corner, took it to the bottom.
Make it work. Ben Rhodes with the advantage on the outside. And I mentioned the Nashville Stampede on this truck. Beautiful looking truck, but how cool. It's a PBR, it's Professional Bull Riders. It's a team, and they won the championship last year and decided they wanted to get on board the truck this time around.
Doesn't the Dillons have a team?
Yeah, they
do.
Well. Yeah, Austin was saying today here in Richmond that he had gone to the bull riding last night.
That's a unique sponsorship partner. At least the truck's not looking like a buck and bull.
It has on occasion.
It's more like the Cadillac. It's nice and smooth. Yeah,
That's
they
right.
worked through the issues earlier.
So another solid night for Ben Rhodes.
And that's what he needed. Had a couple of not so great finishes. Just needed to come in here, be smooth, don't make any mistakes. Came in with a 22-point advantage in ninth, above the cut line. Christian Eckes with a half-second lead over Grant Enfinger. Taylor Gray, Lane Riggs, Ben Rhodes, the top five. Corey Heim right behind him. Daniel Dye, Ty Dillon with a really nice effort tonight so far. Matt Crafton in ninth and Connor Jones in 10th.
How about our chicklets showing the fastest speeds? They're scattered all out across the top 20, aren't they?
Yeah, how about 11th is our fastest truck? And there's Ty Majeski down in 16th, but still showing that he has a fast truck. Really doing a nice job, showing a lot of patience. I haven't seen him make any mistakes whatsoever in practice in traffic.
I think he just was patient, like you
Absolutely,
said. We
yeah.
talked about earlier how important it is to be patient and take care of your tires. There was no reason for him to get in any hurry back there in the mess he was in. Picked his way through it. As you can see, last time by, the fastest truck on the track. They're going to hear from Tom Majeski again for sure.
And they're going to get strung out a little bit more than we did right after the restart, and it's going to be easier for him to make those passes.
Connor Jones there in the 66 doing a great job tonight. He's up inside the top 10, battling there with Tyler Ankrum.
Connor's a part-time driver and dabbles in some other series as well. Never finished in the top 10, just outside the top 10, but trying to get it done here tonight as he has a battle with Tyler Ankrum, who's trying to take away that spot.
Both these drivers on the same strategy, both pitted on lap 73, so same number of laps on the tires for these two trucks.
As is the case for the truck just behind them. Where you see the black truck, Connor Zilish, he's on the same strategy as well.
So I mentioned that Connor Zilish made the announcement last week. He'll be racing for Junior Motorsports full-time next year. He'll be in 4 Xfinity races coming up here in the next couple of months. He's got 4 more truck races planned. And if they can get some funding, they hope to race in the finale at Phoenix in the truck series. So
We'll run a handful of ARCA races. He's actually running for the championship in the ARCA Menards East Series. They have a couple of races to go. Those are combination races with the National Series. We've talked about the fact that we'll see him at Michigan next week in his first start ever on a big fast track.
I have a feeling his eyes are going to be wide open when he sees Michigan for the first time. Amanda, what are you hearing?
As you take a look at the 88, the 3-time NASCAR Craftsman Trucks champion of Matt Crafton knows that he has a win or bust to get into this playoff and to keep that streak alive, but it's not without effort tonight. He's told the team that the truck is simply too tight in the middle. As I'm driving this, I'm starting to get brake shake. And then moving on for a quick update on Tanner Gray. He came into this race hoping to defend an opportunity to race in his first playoff ever. His team is telling him, keep your eyes forward. The goal is to get around the 33 of Lawless Allen so we can put ourselves in that lucky dog position. They are trying to battle back and grind through it like Tanner said at the beginning of the race.
Wow, what a challenge it's been, though, for that truck of Gray. He just doesn't have anything he can work with. You see just ahead of him there is Dean Thompson in the 5. That's the first truck he needs to get by, and then Allen. And hopefully he does all that before somebody else gets lapped.
Yeah, the problem is right now Garcia and Sawalich are only a couple seconds ahead of our leader as we have a great battle for the lead. Enfinger trying to grab it.
Lap traffic right ahead of him. What do they do? Christian Eck is trying to hang on to it. He goes to the outside. Grant Enfinger to the inside. Look at this battle. Grant Enfinger in the 9 truck trying to lead for the first time here tonight at Richmond. Meanwhile, Taylor Gray back there in the 17, that orange and white truck. He's trying to get a sniff. He says, you guys stay side by side. I want a piece of this action.
How about that? Lap 115, 3-way battle for the lead.
25 laps to go in stage number 2. Christian Eck has picked up stage 1. And Grant Enfinger pick up stage 2. Truck's getting better as we run, guys.
Yeah, Eck has slid really wide there. Enfinger is able to take advantage.
Grant Enfinger, new leader in Richmond. Welcome back to the Craftsman Truck Series. Jamie Little, joined by Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip, and Amanda Busick and Josh Sims on pit road. Some nice battles all over the place. This is the battle right here, heating up for 10th. Connor Zilic has it. 98 of Ty Majeski wants it.
I thought Majeski was going to get by the 7 of Zilic, but it hasn't happened. Again, I think just an incredible amount of patience that Majeski has shown with this 98 truck. Obviously had the penalty. Ooh, is that a little 4-wheel slide by
like a slide
Zilic?
I would say there's a whole lot of 4-wheel slide by Zilic, and opened up the door there for Majeski to take advantage. He pounces to the bottom. I think he's going to get this spot.
But What a great effort by Zilich. Obviously only one truck race before, and that was on the road course, which is right in his wheelhouse. But how about this battle for the lead? Taylor Gray going to try to grab that lead on the inside.
Almost touched, so close. Taylor Gray to the point. Grant Enfinger settles in behind. I think he had a little trouble with Garcia in the 13 truck.
Yeah, Jake's trying to stay on the lead lap too.
What a great job by Gray there. Though not only did he enter that corner very shallow underneath Enfinger, he was able to keep it on the bottom and then pounce on Garcia, and he's driving away. What a performance for the young Gray. Watch this. A little bit of a bump there from Enfinger, slows his momentum, but watch how nice and tight Taylor Gray's able to keep that 17 truck.
He takes advantage of the loss of momentum, as you talked about, with a 9 of Enfinger, and keeps that thing right on the bottom as he gets in the corner really hard.
Yeah, he sped up, it looked like, in the center of the corner.
Drive off.
As a racer, you know how difficult it is to enter a corner like that and just survive. He prospered by doing so.
Crafton's going around.
Caution comes out for the 3rd time tonight. Touches the wall right at the end.
Well, we have the same scenario, Phil.
Yeah.
Late caution in this stage. I think they all pit again.
By the time we get the field collected, it'll be about 10 to go in this stage.
At Crafton, you see a little damage on the left front right there, that fender area. Running 14th at the time of the spin. Let's see what happened here.
That'll mess this truck up too badly. Looks like he just tried to dive in the corner, maybe got loose on entry. Is that what you see, Phil?
That's what it looks like. Trying to get inside of Honeycutt, I think. And
That's how he keeps his truck away from Honeycutt.
yeah, Honeycutt gave him room. He had room down on the bottom. He probably had been working him for a number of laps and thought he had a good shot at maybe getting by, but unfortunately it didn't work for him. But as you mentioned, I don't think there's a great deal of damage to that Menards truck.
See a little bit of tire rub there on the right front. Goodyear tire, probably started the spin.
Matt stayed on the lead lap.
Why does that guy have to pinch his door? Absolutely no room. This adapted sideways all the way down.
Well, let's just fix our truck and go back at it. Still on the lead lap, as you said, Phil. Sometimes when you're behind the wheel, it looks a little bit different to you than it does to us looking on from replays. Looked like there was room to the bottom for Matt, but maybe he thought he got squeezed on entry a bit.
Yeah, I think that's what he's saying is, why does that truck have to drive down on my door? So I think he's talking about Honeycutt maybe not giving him quite enough room, or the room he needed.
You saw Jared Prince on the pit box, the crew chief for Matt Crafton, getting a look from our cameras exactly how much damage he's working with. Pit road is open, and here they come. Amanda.
Yeah, Jamie, I wish you could have seen the way that the teams jumped off at the side of that caution. One of those teams was the 99 of Ben Rhodes. He said he's been having trouble rotating the center and wants to be better on exit. It will be a couple of adjustments and 4 tires for Rhodes. Josh?
For the 43 of Daniel Dye, he said that truck is just a tick too tight in the center. He said make a slight adjustment and I'll be really happy with this thing. For Lane Riggs in the 38, he said this thing is just way too tight. So tight it feels like the right front is going down. Otherwise, the team told him he's still running some of the fastest laps. They just need to get that truck dialed in for him.
Enfinger is going to hold serve off of pit road.
There's the damage that we talked about for Crafton. They're going to tune on that left front a bit.
It doesn't even hardly look like damage anymore, does it?
Some nice work by Jeff Stankiewicz and the 9 team, hanging on to the lead for Grant Enfinger. Richmond Raceway. Ty Dillon shown as the leader. First 3 truckers stayed out. Grant Enfinger actually gained a spot on pit road over Taylor Gray, who was leading when the pits opened.
Yeah, 3 trucks stayed on the racetrack, and I think it's going to be very similar to what we saw last time at the end of that first stage. Those 3 trucks are going to be slow.
Way. And it's getting ready to happen right in turn 1. Is how slow
At least 4 wide, you figure, in turn 1?
At least. It's going to be a mess.
Ty Dillon, Stuart Friesen right behind him. They fan out 4 wide into turn 1.
Well, 4 wide. We get that right
Here
on
comes
the head.
Grant Enfinger. Fresh tires, coming through. To the lead he goes. That didn't take long.
I did not understand those 3 trucks staying out. There was absolutely nothing to gain there and a whole lot to lose, and that's what they're doing right now, losing it.
Yeah, without a doubt, will not stay up in the top 10. We know Stuart Friesen was one of those trucks. He desperately needs stage points, but it's not going to work because he's going to get passed by most of these trucks that stopped and got tires.
Look at Taylor Gray. He's getting gobbled up. He keeps falling. He's back in the 12th spot.
Oh, just barely squeezing that little hole.
A tight spot right there he was able to emerge from.
Look how well that truck cuts to the bottom, though. Nice turn there.
Stuart Friesen on the outside, one of those that stayed out. He continues to fall.
There's Majeski there, that blue and silver, number 98.
Give a shout out to that yellow truck up ahead there. That's Connor Hall. He's in the top 10, doing a nice job in that 91.
Making his debut tonight, the Truck Series, 27 years old. Virginia native, by the way. This has to be fun for him and his family.
Be interesting to see what Christian Eckes has. We saw him fading there prior to that caution. See if they made an adjustment that'll help that 19 truck.
See Taylor Gray trying to get around on the outside. That orange and black number 17. That's Nick Sanchez, the 2 to his inside.
A couple of Connors there side by side. We got Connors and Masons.
2 laps to go in stage number 2. It's a battle for those extra points. Connor Jones.
That was a dive, wasn't it, Phil?
It was.
There comes Majeski. He's going to work over the back of that 91 truck.
It's the battle for 12th, just outside. The top 10. The top 10 get points in each stage. Christian Eckes got stage 1. Grant Enfinger, who pitted, got those fresh tires. Wasted no time taking the lead.
Majeski trying to grab that.
And here he comes,
12th
out
spot.
of turn 4. Grant Enfinger wins stage 2. This is Enfinger's first stage win since Milwaukee last year.
Wow.
That's awesome. There he is, Grant Enfinger. The truck to beat right now. Can he hang on and get the victory, the first one of the season? Just like that, 2 stages in the books from Richmond Raceway. And you see the stage points earned tonight. Christian Eckes, 19, all the way down to Tyler Ankrum, who's already locked in with 3 points.
Yeah, 12 points of Ben Rhodes. That's big. Daniel Dye with 13 points. Huge for him.
We're going to reset stage number 3. The last stage of the regular season is coming up next.
Three-quarter-mile racetrack.
From a driver's standpoint, I got to believe the pressure's on.
From the countryside, I can hear the call. It's getting loud. You can hear them shout.
And more racing at Richmond.
Let's go, baby. Caution.
Oh, right there's a car.
Now we got one.
Shake it off, let's go.
These guys are racing for their playoff lives.
Welcome back to Richmond Raceway, and the question is, who can clinch their spot, their ticket into the playoffs? 2 spots remain as they sit. Take a look at the bubble, who's on the outside looking in, and who is in as of right now. It's quite interesting how things are shaking out. You see Daniel Dye plus 25, Tanner Gray minus 25, and guys, he just got the free pass. He's back on the lead lap.
He has a chance now.
And that got Daniel Dye's attention.
Yes, it did.
It's like, oh, he's back in the game. Let's make sure we square off and go straight up against him.
Let's hear from a crew chief, Josh.
Dylan Capello, the crew chief of the 38 team. You got Lane Riggs in position in 4th. What's it going to take to bring this home, get the win you need to make the postseason?
Yeah, I think we're just going to, hope that this last adjustment helps the truck on the long run. And I think we can run with these guys for sure. Lane's done a really good job, just starting to put these races together. And he's really, coming into his form that we know he could do at the beginning of the season. So loves RV stop. F-150 has been really good, and just trying to keep it up here, maybe get off strategy at the end and see what happens. So doing good.
Amanda?
Yeah, Josh, it's not official yet, but a great night for Ben Rhodes so far. His crew chief, Doug Randolph, just told me it's been hectic. How to plan has this race gone for you guys so far?
Well, Ben's doing a great job out there in the Nashville Stampede Ford. We got to be a little conservative here and play it smart. Obviously, we could have a new winner. We're just trying to finish this off and make sure we get in the playoffs.
Thank you, Doug. Good luck.
I love what he said. He knows it, and we know it. There could be a new winner. And we also have heard about strategy. We talked about how the first 2 stages would be pretty straightforward. This is going to be all but that. These guys are going to try to pull some strategy, pit sooner than the rest, later than the rest, try to catch a caution. We're going to see a little bit of everything in this final stage.
We're going to restart with about 101 laps to go. Look for pit stops under green if we stay green in about 50 laps.
All right, Christian Eckes on the inside. Grant Enfinger on the outside lane. Riggs just heard from his crew chief right there in the 38 truck with a big push to Grant Enfinger. They're fanning out. Is that the 11 of Corey Heim trying to make it 3 wide?
Ooh, there wasn't quite enough room. There was a little bit of contact between he and the 43 of Daniel Dye.
Man, Daniel took a chance there by squeezing down on Corey that hard, but both of them got away with it, and Corey wound up with a spot.
Oh, they're wrecking behind him. Dean Thompson, the 5 truck, goes around. Collects the 46, Thad Moffitt, the 88 of Matt Crafton involved. Is that Keith McGee?
Thad Moffitt needs to get off the road. He's losing a lot of fluid there. Should have hooked it down pit road. Keith McGee with issues there. Dean Thompson was the first one I saw go around. We'll catch a replay and see what exactly went down, but we've seen how crazy it is back there in the pack.
That was back in 28th, 29th, 30th positions. Safety clean truck was beautiful.
Mason Massey also with a lot of damage. There's that 5 of Dean Thompson.
Couldn't tell how much damage he really had.
I think that probably lost oil pressure and had to stop. Watch the 25 truck, right side of your screen, that white truck.
Way down low is Ty Dillon, and he gets hit by Chase Purdy, and that knocks him into the back of Dean Thompson, and around Dean goes.
Well, I don't know how some of these drivers missed that. Stefan did a really nice job in that 75 truck to avoid that.
Matt Crafton sneaks through as well. Watch this mess back there.
Right in front of those guys.
See the 45 truck right there just gets through. I don't think he got a scratch on him. Caden Honeycutt.
Matt Crafton did a great job. He actually stopped. This is from Tanner Gray's onboard.
Low. Turn down.
Great job by the spotter. Low, turn down. That's exactly what Tanner did, and he missed it.
Got back on the lead lap. Now he misses this big crash. He's got to be feeling refreshed here late in the going. See Jake Garcia cuts hard low as well.
So the 5th time that the caution has been out tonight. Thad Moffitt needs a little help to get off the racetrack, bring him back to the garage.
See Keith McGee getting out. And I don't think that changes our strategy. Nobody's going to stop here, and that's just going to prolong it. Okay, however many laps are left in this race, once we restart, then cut that in half. And that's when we'll start seeing pit stops, I think.
And maybe even a little bit before that is a possibility, but then also you got to think of a guy, say you're Tanner Gray. You might try to stretch that out and just keep going. You know you don't have a chance to win the race or to point your way in if you do what everybody else does. Do something different, take a chance.
Grant Enfinger continues to lead here as we're under caution for the 5th time from Richmond Raceway. Friday night on Fox, the baddest superstars on the planet are unleashed in prime time for WWE Friday Night SmackDown. Don't miss network television's biggest spectacle. That's live 8, 7 Central on Fox.
That's some good action right there. You know who I think would make a good WWE fighter?
Who?
Taylor Gray.
Yes, he would.
He's a big feller.
He is strong. And he's
You
been
wanna
strong
ask him
tonight.
if he's thinking about
Ask him
that.
if he ever watches WWE. Or you better stay on subject.
Yeah, you think?
Congratulate him for moving on.
Okay. Hey, Taylor Gray, Phil Parsons in the Fox team. You got a copy?
Hey, Phil, gotcha.
Buddy, you guys have done a great job tonight. You find yourself now in the 10th spot, but that truck's been fast, been up in the top 3 most of the night. Congratulations on making your first playoff here and your first full season in the Craftsman Truck Series. How about for the finish of this thing?
Yeah, Phil, Jeff brought me a really fast JBL Toyota Tierney Pro. Just going to execute on it here. Had a bad restart there. Just struggle with people on tires there. And just going to have to fight our way out of this little hole that we put ourselves in. But, you know, I got a lot of confidence in my Tricon Garage guys. And, you know, just have a really fast truck. So just going to let everything play out. Just execute all that one.
Sounds good. How about we ask your crew chief? We have him on camera, Jeff Hensley. Hey, buddy, great job here getting this truck in the playoffs. You guys have been solid all year long. What are you thinking about the rest of this thing?
Well, I mean, we'll see how this shakes out. I mean, I think we got a top 3 truck. I don't know if we got a winning truck or not, but I think we got a top 3 truck. The longer it runs under the green, the better off we are. It seems like every time we get ready to take the lead on the stage, the caution comes out. So, not meant for us to win the stage tonight, but Taylor's doing a heck of a job taking care of the tires. Guys prepared an excellent JBL Toyota, and we'll just see what happens. We've already done what we come to do, and now we'll just see if we can't transfer on the owner points and maybe get us a win here tonight.
All right, buddy, we talked earlier in the day about what would happen here if we get green flag running here in this 3rd stage. If we go green from here, when are you going to stop, Jeff?
Oh, I don't know. We're just going to play that by ear and see what happens.
I know. Play it close to the vest. I got you. I can see you smiling, too. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, he doesn't have any idea what he's going to do.
Phil, he's telling he's not going to take that into question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's listen to the older brother and what he's thinking. Here's Tanner.
This thing ain't over, big dog. I've seen the Jeff and Grant have this same kind of deal here. Caution comes out about 180. They put tires on, nobody else does, and they drive and win this thing. So I'm not giving up. Yeah, 10-4.
We've talked about it endlessly about how you can flip things around when other drivers make a pit stop and you don't stay out. It's going to be interesting.
Tanner Gray minus 8 points right now to the bubble, shown back there in the 20th spot.
I know you know Hensley really well, Phil. You didn't actually think you were going to answer that.
No, I didn't. I thought I'd try.
I love the chuckle. He just chuckled. Didn't he really
and then smiled really big.
Trouble for Dean Thompson. That was a hard hit. They were just getting up to speed into turn 1, and around they all went. Turn 3 by that time, I guess, after the restart. Hard impact for him.
Still cleaning this track up. We saw that 46 truck of Thad Moffitt down on the inside, and the safety crew trying to get that thing hooked up. It's been a lengthy caution, and drivers I don't think mind that much right now, Phil, because we see how much these tires fall off. They're not going to fall off during caution, so they're going to have fresher stuff as we race into the night.
And it's amazing how much of a better job that their track crews do on getting these racetracks cleaned up. Back in the day, it would be up to us drivers to blow the speedy dry off. Now they blow it off, vacuum it up, and the track is great when they go back racing.
All right, guys, so we've got about 90 or so laps to go, and then we won't be talking about the cutoff line because we are going playoff racing. 7 stops next up, Milwaukee Mile on August 25th.
What a great 3-race round here. I love the diversity of these 3 racetracks.
Yeah, Milwaukee Mile is a mile, as it says in the name. I guess you figured that out. But it races like a short track. You slip and slide, and it's a flat racetrack, so that'll be a challenge in the high banks of Bristol. I always love going to Bristol.
Going to race around that baseball field, right?
That's right.
Then we'll go out west a little bit to Kansas Speedway.
What a racy track that is, too. We've seen them run from the apron to the wall in all everywhere in between.
That
What a
track
great
gets better
round.
and better, doesn't it?
It does.
So 10 drivers, 7 races make up the playoffs for the Truck Series.
We'll wind up in Phoenix, Arizona.
So there's some breaks. If you do the math, they've got some breaks. Just the nice part for these teams in this series. They get a little breather. They can work on their trucks, set up for the next round. Uh-oh.
We're going to run those 3 races, and then we're going to drop off 2 of those 10 playoff drivers. And then we'll have 8 for another round of 3 before we decide who's going to Phoenix to race for the championship.
They're working on the lineup right now, so Lawless Allen just waiting for that so he can shuffle in line.
Wallace Allen thought he was the free pass. NASCAR has now rescinded that pass to him, and they gave it to Chase Purdy. He'll go back on the lead lap. Stephen Parsons will be in the 25th position in his 75 truck. He'll be the next guy in line to get a free pass if the caution were to fall quickly after this restart.
And we're talking about the fact that we're not anticipating cautions, but we certainly didn't anticipate that caution as well. But normally, if we're going to get a caution, it's probably going to be right after a restart, as we saw the 4 and 5 wide racing there.
We saw a big squeeze by this guy, Daniel Dye, really taking Corey Heim down low. Luckily, they all got through there, but then when we got down to turn 3, wasn't so lucky to make it.
I think Corey gave him a break, gave him a little bit extra room getting down in turn number 1.
You mentioned the extended caution. We had a lot of fluid from Thad Moffitt. The 5 of Dean Thompson, you saw him getting hooked up and getting help back to the garage.
They were trying to put some water in that truck, but I guess it didn't work out.
Well, as they continue this cleanup, we'll step aside and we'll drop the green flag on the backside. We're live from Richmond Raceway. Welcome back to Richmond Raceway for the final race of the regular season. 85 laps to go. We've had 5 different leaders tonight. Christian Eckes has led the most with 64. Grant Enfinger in that 9 truck has come on strong. Beautiful paint scheme. He is the leader with the 19 of Christian Eckes, stage 1 winner to the inside. The cleanup from the latest caution is complete. Green flag back in the air. Great restart for the 9 of Grant Enfinger. Eckes slides back. Corey Heim to the inside, making it 4 wide once again.
Wow.
Look at Ben Rhodes. This is the highest we've seen him run all night.
We talk all the time about how the further we get into the race, the more aggressive these drivers get. We've already seen 4 wide. How much more aggressive can they get?
The second time Corey's been squeezed down getting in turn 1 on a restart. See Raja Cruz. Raja has made his way up into the top 10 for the first time tonight, battling with Corey Heim for the 6th spot.
Ruth with a really solid season. 8 top 10s. By the way, this is his home track. Grew up in Washington, D.C., not too far up the road. And the caution is out. Once again, Lawless Allen with trouble, but he gets it rolling.
Break from Stephen Parsons. I mentioned earlier he was running in the free spot position, and he got that quick caution he needed to get back on the lead lap.
Yeah, big break there.
We just gotta know, Phil, it's just gonna get worse and worse. They're just gonna push harder and harder. We've seen a lot of blocks thrown, and you're liable to take those blocks a little bit better early in the going than you are late.
See Ty Majeski in the 10th spot, the 98, after that pit road penalty earlier. There's a replay of the most recent incident. There's a 33. Lawless Allen just misses the 88.
He had the back tires fired up, trying to keep it pointed in the right direction. Did a nice job of keeping it out of that inside wall.
So pits are open. We mentioned Stephen Parsons, the free pass.
I don't think we see anything on pit road here that matters. What do you think, Phil?
No, I don't think so. I think we're probably 30 laps short of somebody thinking about coming to pit road. I think if we get a caution in 30 laps, then everybody comes to pit road. Again, but that may be a good time for someone to gamble.
Yeah, every gambler knows the secret to surviving.
And maybe that's exactly what Matt Crafton is doing right now.
Amanda, he's coming your way.
Phil, you're exactly on it. It is going to be a gamble by this team. They were talking this strategy even before the last time when Matt Crafton had got caught up in that issue on track. They were curious if the tires had been flat spotted. Matt said that they were fine, but Jared Prince decided to bring this truck in. Let's put some stickers on it and have those scrubs to the end, guys.
Again, this race goes green, and that's going to be a huge advantage for Matt Crafton. Connor Zilish also made his way to pit road as well, so I think it's a good gamble by these teams that came to pit road. And they always have the option of putting the tires back on that they took off. Obviously, that was the last set of new tires that these teams put on. Connor Zilish right there in the 7, as well as Matt Crafton. But again, they have those tires that don't have a lot of laps on them that they would be able to put on later on.
There's that set of tires that came off Matt Crafton, Amanda mentioned. Save those for later, clean them off a little bit in case they need them.
Yeah, it'll be at a disadvantage though against new tires, but it won't be like they'll have 60, 70 laps on them when all the other teams put new tires on.
Yeah, we have very few green flag laps on these tires, so I get it. You know, you want to mix it up and do something different, but I don't know about that.
Well, next Saturday, it's Baseball Night in America on Fox as Showtime Shohei Ohtani leads the Dodgers against Paul Goldschmidt and the Cardinals. Or it's a battle of division leaders as the Guardians take on the Brewers. It all begins next Saturday at 7 Eastern on Fox. Check for the game in your area. Again, I've talked more baseball the last 2 days than I ever have. Exciting times.
Who would have ever thought MLB at Bristol Motor Speedway?
I'll tell you, Chipper Jones, champion baseball player. I mean, just a standout. I mean, people like me that don't watch baseball all the time know Chipper Jones.
Oh, yeah.
And I got to interview him yesterday at the big announcement at Bristol Motor Speedway. He was so pumped up, checking out everything. Then he got to ride around the track. So Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain were giving some lap rides.
That's cool.
His eyeballs were huge. see the speedy dry going down on the racetrack. So we're going to step aside, but we will be back and we'll drop that green flag, hopefully for more laps this time. Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, where we're under caution for the 6th time this evening. About 75 laps to go here. Let's get some updates from pit road. Josh, you're up first.
And down here with Blake Bainbridge, the crew chief of the 43 team. Daniel Dye right now has himself in position to make the postseason. Still a lot of racing left, so what are you telling your driver about finishing this thing off?
Yeah, he's in a really good spot right now with our truck. He's really happy with it. You know, we just got to maintain track position here, and as the caution laps run here, we're just trying to figure out what to do. Have another set of tires sitting here to see what the cautions do, but I'm really proud of this team tonight. They have fought really hard. He has fought really hard. Like I said, his restarts are impeccable. He's just doing good, man, and we're just got our fingers crossed here, and hopefully we get this spot.
43 team in good position right now, Amanda.
Yeah, and Josh and Jeremy, we've been listening to you all race long, keeping Tanner mentally inside of this process. With this last part of this race, how can you continue to dig out?
I mean, anything's possible at this point. We fought really hard there, got the lucky dog, got back on the lead lap. We kind of scratched and clawed our way back up to 18th. So, I mean, anything's possible, if he gets caught up in a wreck or there's more cautions and we put the tires on at the right time. So, I mean, whatever's meant to be will be at this point. We've scratched and clawed a lot of our season. We've been behind like that early in the race. We found a way to manufacture a finish. So nothing says we can't do it right here as well.
As Tanner said at the beginning of the race, they are going to grind it out tonight, and that's exactly what this team has done, guys.
Yeah, well said by Jeremy Dunley as crew chief. As you see it there on the left side of your screen, 17 points below that cut line for Tanner Gray. So a lot of racing, guys, still to go. I mean, a couple more laps under caution. You're looking at maybe 71, 72 laps to go.
And that really gets us in a window that maybe, as we see the choose going on right now, maybe these trucks don't stop under green. Remember, Majeski ran the entire stage caution-free last year and got passed with 4 laps to go. Well, we only have 74 laps to go, and what we've had maybe 5 to 10 green flag laps. I don't see these drivers pitting under green because we've run so many caution laps, and now we're so close to the end of the race.
And before the race started, they betted they would pit under green in this final stage. Now that's out. I'm with you, Phil. I don't think that's part of the plan anymore. Just too few of laps to go to make all that distance up.
This race has been a little bit different than the last couple of races here at Richmond.
And it has a chance to get a little bit different yet with these
Yes,
with this very next restart. We've seen how crazy this gets. Remember Crafton and Zilich back there outside the top 20 on those fresher tires. We'll see how that plays out as we run toward the checkered.
So to recap, Christian Eckes has led the most laps tonight, 64. He won stage 1. Grant Enfinger won stage 2. Enfinger, your leader right now. Shows the outside once again. See him fanning out every single time that 11 truck tries to make it work. Look at Ben Rhodes taking a peek, trying to lead here for the first time tonight, side by side with Grant Enfinger.
Ooh, trucks bouncing off the wall. Look like 2, 3, maybe even 4 trucks got into the wall off for turn 2.
I think that was Taylor Gray that in that JBL number 17. You can see the Goodyear's rubbed off his tires. He hit the wall off too.
Look at Raja Karuth on the move. As Ty Majeski in the 98 gets around him, picks up another spot for Ty, and goes into 7th.
Daniel looking low on Raja. Here comes Lane Riggs in that yellow truck.
And you get underneath the 99 of Ben Rhodes. That's a battle for the 3rd spot.
Lane's just been getting better and better all night long.
Remember, a win and you're in. He's a full-time driver. Lane Riggs, if he could get up there and win this thing, there they are in the playoffs.
We talk about the bubble, all around the bubble, the guys above the bubble, below the bubble, but as you mentioned, there's 17 or 18 drivers that below the bubble that are eligible to go and make it to playoffs if they can get to victory lane.
7 at Connor Zilich had a restart violation.
It's going to mess up that strategy by those new tires. Trouble for Connor Jones, yeah. I'm not sure he's going to
stay green for now, but I don't think
if he stays on the racetrack, he's not going to make it around unless he makes the hard left-hand turn here when he gets to the end of pit road.
Will he make it? Here comes the leaders. They're going to stay green. He'll stay on the bottom. And now the caution waves. 7th time tonight.
gave him every chance to get that thing fired up, but it didn't happen for Connor.
He just needed to make it right there to take the left onto pit road, but obviously down on power, couldn't make it.
It should be a break for Zilich, right?
Yeah, I think he stayed on the lead lap, so that's going to be a huge break for him. He got that penalty. Let's see if we can see what happened.
You can't pass, can't pull out a line until you're across the start-finish line is the rule.
There he is.
There he is, diving down. Must have been something we couldn't see because he was down there, but probably started there a little bit prematurely.
Yeah, you have to stay in line till you get past the start-finish line. And with those new tires, he probably had such a head of steam going.
I'd say he had a smile on his face too, with all the grip he felt when he matted the gas on that 7 truck. There you see him pushing the 66 back toward pit road.
See that Silver Hair Racing development team on the right side and left side of the 7 truck. Maurice and Laura Hull own that team. They're there today. Big part of the development of Connor Zilich getting him to this point.
Seems like every time we talk about Connor Zilich, we talk about William Swalich, and I'll be darned, right there he is again. It's kind of like Corey Heim and Christian Eckes.
Corey Heim's trying to make something work every single restart. Trying to jump to the inside and make some hay. Will anybody pit here?
I think it's not going to help, but if you want to, you can go for it. Corey Heim hadn't had a great truck, but he's on pit road. There you see
Raja Karuth.
Raja's with him as well.
These drivers thinking maybe that we won't go back or get another caution flag.
Josh?
As you're looking at Corey Heim get a little adjustments on his truck, getting those 4 tires. He was honest earlier today in a conversation and saying that short tracks just really haven't been my thing. Neither has this place, but he's just hoping that he can get the truck to fire off better, Josh.
For Rajah Caruth, that was his best run of the day. Had himself battling inside the top 10. They elected to come down to fuel up and get those 4 tires.
We'll see what the fresh tires do this time. We have about 64 laps to go.
We've only had about 15 green flag laps since lap 30 when Enfinger and Eckes and most of our trucks running up in the top 10 came to pit road.
And I would venture to guess half those laps, Phil, of the 15 weren't up to speed.
Maybe half of a lap at speed.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So 7, 8 laps probably at the most. So, but you know, if you need an adjustment, I think we saw them working on the left rear of a couple of those trucks. Maybe you just need that adjustment and you think this is a great time to get it, see what happens.
Yeah, and if you're Corey Heim said, I can't win the race. I'm not good enough to win the race like it is now. Let's try to mix it up a little bit. He's in a great position with 5 wins already this year. Let's mix it up. Maybe I'll catch people. We'll have a little bit fresher tires and maybe it's going to work. We talked about Zilish. It'll be the tail end of the field for this restart because of that penalty for moving out of line on the restart.
Caught a real break because of that caution flying. Here you see Tanner Gray. He's currently 21st, but he took advantage of pitting. But if I'm him, I'm going to do just the opposite of what Daniel Dye does and try to make sure that I'm on a different page because he's got so much ground to work to make up.
Yeah, Daniel Dye right now last pitted on lap number 130. So even though we haven't that many green flag laps, I think he's gambling that possibly we won't get another caution flag. And we certainly have seen this racetrack provide a lot of racing without caution flags. We haven't seen that tonight, though.
So you look at the cutoff right there, Daniel Dye, 21 to the good. In 8 years of the playoffs, the cut line has never changed in the final race. And if it stays as it is now, that'll be the first time somebody has raced their way in below the cut line.
There's the 43 of Daniel Dye. Going to restart in the running 8th, but I think I saw him take the bottom line.
Yeah, he gave up a row, I think, to take that bottom line.
Yeah.
You see he's going to be inside row number 5.
There's a lot of squeezing going on in that bottom line. Big old Toyota Tundra pace truck, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Leading the way. That thing looks like it's boss.
Pretty stout.
Yeah.
So is that 9 truck, Grant Enfinger.
Taylor Gray is our leading Toyota right now, running in the 7th spot. That 17 truck on the inside row 4.
Here we go once again. Grant Enfinger to the outside. Christian Eckes on the inside. What can they do this time around? Get a little squirrely behind him. That's Lane Riggs. 3, 4 wide. Somebody's sideways back there.
Look at Corey Heim taking advantage of those new tires. Made it 4 wide down to 1 and 2.
Look at that mess.
There's Corey again moving around the 17 of Taylor Gray.
Oh, and there's a squeeze play. Jake Garcia into the side of Connor Hall, I think that was.
Okay, those new tires seem to be working for Corey Heim, that 11 truck. Trying to make his way to the outside of Stuart Friesen, not going to have room there. That's Majeski that he's going by.
Friesen in the 6th spot. Here comes Corey Heim on the outside. Picks up the spot, moves past Friesen.
Friesen hanging tough on the bottom.
So far, I'm liking this move by Scott Zipadelli to put tires on that 11 truck.
Well, he hasn't had a great truck all day long. In practice, he wasn't great. Watch this squeeze play. Look at that, 4 wide off turn 4. Are you kidding me?
Connor Hall does a nice job using all the room he had on the left to keep from making hard contact with the outside, but just barely scraped the outside wall.
Majeski's now working over Stuart Friesen on the bottom of the racetrack. See Lane Riggs just ahead.
25, Ty Dillon right behind him in the Rackley truck.
Top 10 run for Ty, good run.
Daniel Dye has given up a few spots. He's in 10th now. Meanwhile, Tanner Gray trying to move his way forward back in 16th.
Whoa, a little shoving there.
Majeski got into the left rear quarter of the 38 of Lane Riggs.
I think Majeski's finally gone to the whip.
It was time to go.
Grant Enfinger with about a 1.5 second lead over Ben Rhodes. We're going to step aside. You won't miss a thing as we go side by side. Welcome back to the Clean Harbors 250. 50 laps to go here from Richmond Raceway. Things are heating up. Grant Enfinger continues to lead. He clinched a spot in the playoffs at our last race in Indianapolis, but he's looking for his first win of the season. Now we have 2 positions, 2 spots remaining in the playoffs.
These crew chiefs took a chance, Scott Zeppedelli, early and said, we're going to bet there's not going to be another caution. With all the action we've seen, that's a pretty big bet. But right now, the 11 truck is taking advantage of those fresher tires. Although at just a few laps, Phil, we were talking during break, they have cycles on them, and sometimes that slows down the speed of the tires.
So this is the battle we're watching. This is the bubble battle. Who's in, who's out? Tanner Gray's continuing to move forward. Daniel Dye continuing to fall. Only 12 points separating these two.
Yeah, a little fresher tires on Tanner's truck. Good call by Jeremy Donnelly to bring the pit road as Raja gets a little bit loose, trying to move underneath Daniel Dye. He's going to be able to make that pass.
Raja on those fresher tires. Is Stuart Friesen off the pace on the back straightaway?
Watch this out of your screen. Watch the 71. A little bit of contact with the 43 of Daniel Dye, and then he gets a little bit sideways as he tries to get down in turn number 1.
First time we've seen Daniel Dye outside the top 10 tonight. He's had a really strong effort, running top 5 most of this race.
Still keeping Tanner Gray behind him, and that's the goal.
Now we have every crew chief on pit road other than Corey Heim's crew chief and William Sawalich's crew chief and Tanner Gray's crew chief wanting a caution flag right now to put some fresh tires on these trucks, as Zilich is going to make his way around the 43 of Daniel Dye as well.
Hayden Honeycutt there in the 45, hadn't mentioned his name much, but he's fought his way into the top 15 here late.
Good battle right here. Ben Rhodes, the 99 on the inside, his teammate Ty Majeski, the 98 on the outside. That is a battle for third. Here comes Majeski.
We knew it would happen. He's gone to the whip. He's really conservative as he got behind earlier with a penalty on pit road, has been able to work his way through the field.
As you can see, left side of your screen in our pylon, he's 5 seconds behind Grant Enfinger, but more importantly, 4 seconds behind Corey Heim, who has fresher tires than he does.
There's your chiclets showing you the 5 fastest speeds. Heim a little bit quicker that last time by than Enfinger.
You have plenty of time left here, 44 laps to go.
Fourth fastest of the top 5 that last lap. This will bounce all over the place. And like you said, caution flag changes everything.
See the Gray brothers running nose to tail, but it's older brother Tanner in front of Taylor.
I really like this move by Tanner Gray and his team. As you mentioned, let's switch it up a little bit. They came and put tires on, and you see him making moves, trying to get by the 45 of Honeycutt, making his way towards the 43 of Daniel Dye.
Daniel Dye just ahead in that bright red truck, creasing between those two as Gray works over Honeycutt.
And those 13 stage points that Daniel accumulated tonight, they're going to pay huge dividends, I think.
It's an insurance policy that he really desperately needs. He's still worried about that 15 truck, I'm sure, but he has that insurance that you spoke of, Phil. We talked earlier in the race how this place is notorious for long green flag runs. Well, we saw a bunch of cautions, and those cautions were enough to get opportunities to a couple crew chiefs to take a chance. It's a big chance. Caution flies, they're cooked, but we'll see how it goes down.
Tanner Gray.
Yeah, trying to make the move on Honeycutt.
Going to pick up this spot for 15th.
See his brother looking on. Look at those brake rotors glowing red.
Operation 300 on board the 15 for Tanner Gray.
Christian Eckes and Ben Rhodes battling for the 4th spot.
Grant Enfinger now has led the most laps of the night, 87 and counting. Christian Eckes led 64 laps tonight. Wasn't real happy with his car earlier today, but started on pole.
That is your battle for the lead right there. Corey Heim has closed it down to about 5 truck lengths behind Enfinger. Corey might not be the fastest truck on the racetrack every lap, but he seems to be faster than the 9 of Grant Enfinger about every lap.
You know who is the fastest truck about every lap, and that's Tom Majeski.
You think he went to the whip, huh?
I think he did. I think it's time to call on that Ford.
Remember, he was 5 seconds behind just a few moments ago when we talked about it. Now he's 3.5 seconds behind.
And again, last time by, the fastest truck.
So our leader, Grant Enfinger, remember, he last pitted on lap 130. Corey Heim last pitted on 184. Majeski behind him, lap 130. Different strategies.
That interval from 1st to 3rd, as you can see, Corey Heim starting to look around a little bit, moved up the hill there, seeing if he can find some grip to deal with Grant Enfinger.
I think Majeski would love to see Grant Enfinger hold off Corey Heim for a number of laps and allow him to close that gap a little bit.
Corey Heim has yet to lead tonight. Certainly the best position he has been in. He's breathing down the neck of Grant Enfinger.
There's Majeski right there in 3rd, just a little bit over 3 seconds behind that 9 truck of Enfinger.
Last time by, Majeski again, fastest truck. These two have got some racing to do here at the front, though.
We bragged about Majeski and his patience, and we ran out of patience before he did. We said, why is Majeski not going any farther towards the front?
He's closing on him. Grant Enfinger trying to hold off Corey Heim. Across the start-finish line into turn 1.
Majeski's got it under 3 seconds now.
Working their way around this lap traffic.
Spencer Boyd pulls over, gives them room. Wow. Grant Enfinger leading this race, and knowing what's coming from behind, it's got to be a tough position to be in.
Here he comes. Can't get it done there. Ty Majeski back about 2.7 seconds. Look at this battle for the lead. 33 laps to go at Richmond.
Grant can send it in there with Heim, but he just seems to lose a little bit in the center. Not that time, though. Used the top groove and pulled away from Heim.
You see if Corey tries to make his way to the outside. You see Grant down on the bottom because Corey's not close enough to make that move.
Shout out to Lane Riggs, another solid run on the short track. We know that's his bread and butter, and he's done a nice job tonight. Currently running in the 4th position.
Yeah, just got around Christian Eckes this last lap to grab that 4th spot.
Just behind the 19 is the one of William Sawalich, another one of those that most recently pitted, making the most of this.
That's a great job by William. We know he's a very talented young racer. Got Ben Rhodes, Tyler Ankrum, Matt Crafton all behind him.
Yeah, much like the situation with Corey Heim, a little bit pressure tires pitted on that same lap. Probably going to be able to be enough as Corey Heim is going for the lead.
To the inside, he gets it done. Enfinger fights back, but nope. Corey Heim will take the lead for the first time tonight.
I think it cost that lap truck of Mason Massey cost Graham a little bit of momentum that allowed Corey to get to his inside.
See it there, 30 laps to go from Richmond. We'll step aside, you won't miss it. We're going side by side. And you saw it on side by side. Caution is out for the 8th time. Stuart Friesen was slowing on the racetrack just as he was trying to make his way down pit road. We had an issue with Caden Honeycutt.
Went around in turn 4. This is going to be fun to watch. Pit stops.
Almost everyone's coming to pit road.
Pits are open.
Yeah.
So does that, the advantage is gone for Corey Heim?
Totally gone.
No, it's the other way now.
It's a disadvantage now.
He's staying out. No, he's coming down. He's going to put on those 7, 8 lap tires he took off. But we know how important stickers are.
This could be a big advantage for Grant Enfinger, Ty Majeski, but they got to nail the pit stop. No mistakes. Majeski, we saw him with a mistake earlier. Amanda.
You'll take a look at the Levin pull into his pit box. He's talking to his crew chief, Scott Zipadelli, ahead of this stop and said, guys, we tried everything we could. They took that gamble and took those tires last time ahead. That's how Corey was able to charge to the stop. Josh, what are you hearing on Grant Enfinger?
For Grant Enfinger, just losing the lead to the 11, we're hoping these tires will give him what he needs to get that lead back and go for the win for the 38 of Lane Riggs. He needs a win, and he needs a slight adjustment to get him what he needs to get into the postseason.
Looks like William Sawalich took 2 tires.
Great strategy, though. Had a fast truck, and he didn't have as many laps on those left sides as some of the others. Now, he'll be a little bit of a disadvantage with those 2 tires. There's the race off pit road by a long shot. Grant Enfinger is a lead truck off pit road with 4 tires.
4 fresh tires, too.
Yes. Sticker tires.
Ooh, that just makes me want to go fast, Phil.
Want to hear that paper flapping.
So let's take a look at why we're under caution.
Oh, Stefan.
Stefan and the 45 of Honeycutt get together. Don't know if maybe they got down on the corner side by side. And
they were racing for the 16th position, I think. This is going to be another thrilling restart. Oof. Varying strategies on tires. Tires, tires, tires. We knew we would talk about them all night long, when to get them.
I think most of our field right now, most of our lead lap trucks have 4 brand new sticker tires. We know that Corey Heim doesn't. We know William Sawalich only put 2 tires on. I think Zilich has probably put some used tires back on. Some of those, all those people that stopped around lap 185 or whatever.
I think Matt Crafton is another one of the trucks that
I think you're exactly right.
Did that.
You guys see the playoff cutoff right now? Had it up there briefly.
Uh-oh.
Oh, trouble.
What's wrong with this?
Nick Sanchez.
Something wrong with the left front? Is it down?
See if he can get going before the field comes back around so we can stay on the lead lap.
Amanda, what's going on?
Yeah, he was just telling his team this has been happening all night. He said that the clutch pedal is hard to push. The team told him, hey, the truck is coming behind you. They're going to push you to the box. We'll take a look at it.
Tough break for Nick Sanchez. Makes it into his box. Take a look at it.
See the field going by, though, so he will be a lap down.
Under the hood they go.
There's maybe fluid. It's a hydraulic clutch, and see if there maybe that is out of fluid.
How good does that win in Daytona feel right now for Nick Sanchez?
Good. Sanchez, I mean, Charlotte doesn't feel bad either.
Just knocking it out right off the bat, though, at Daytona.
Yeah,
I mean,
since February.
Knowing you're locked into the playoffs that early in the season, takes a lot of pressure off, and he's had a great season.
Oh, my goodness.
Consistency, it's been amazing.
Jamie, look at our bubble now.
Oh, me.
I made reference to, look at this.
Look at that.
Oh, my goodness.
Daniel Dye versus.
Don't tell Daniel. Let her ride.
Tanner Gray's, I think he's put on older tires.
Yeah, I think he was on the same strategies of Corey Heim. And a great call. If the caution hadn't come out, it would have probably worked for him. Bad pit stop we're hearing for Daniel Dye. Watch this restart.
William Sawalich on the inside. Grant Enfinger on those fresh tires on the outside.
Great start by Grant. Was able to stay side by side with Sawalich, and he should just drive around him.
Number Sawalich, the one truck, just right side tires. They have contact. Ty Majeski to the lead.
And here comes Lane Riggs. Can he get around Enfinger?
Lane Riggs has just been incredible tonight. Just the consistency. Top 5 all night long. Right now, he's eyeing the lead.
Grant Enfinger's doing all he can to stay with the 38. Tanner Gray's now dropping back those older tires, Michael. The older, he put tires on probably, but they were used tires.
Yeah, and you can see Daniel Dye is taking advantage of that as Grant Enfinger continues to battle side by side with Lane Riggs.
Got Eckes right behind him. Will Eckes try to take advantage of these two being side by side? A little bit loose, a little wiggle by Riggs getting down in the corner.
And he slides up, and that opens the door for Eckes. These guys are racing tight. Eckes opens up the entry, goes high. See if he can get a run off and get to the bottom here. That was his plan. Looks like a pretty darn good plan.
It is 17 laps to go.
Majeski likes all what he's seeing in his rearview mirror. Pulling away from Grant Enfinger.
Look at this cut line right here. We just talked about it being 1 point. Those older tires for Tanner Gray.
And the newer ones for Dye. He's up in the top 10 after that bad pit stop. So nice job keeping cool under pressure for Daniel Dye.
Nice job by Ty Majeski, the leader, with Joe Shear. I mean, just to have a race that is mistake-free. They haven't had it, but they overcome. They've been working on it. They had an uncontrolled tire earlier. He was patient. You guys said he just was waiting and waiting and buying his time. Now he's leading this race, looking to make it 2 wins in a row.
But I'm going to tell you, if this 38 truck gets clear of 9, I think he's going to go heat up that 98.
We've reached our Craftsman 15 laps to go. Battle for second, so close. Meanwhile, Majeski continues to check out over a 2.5-second lead over Grant Enfinger.
We're third at North Wilkesboro. Lane Riggs, best career finish earlier this year.
These guys are fighting these trucks.
And I reckon Connor Zilic goes around. 9th caution of the night.
He's running in the 18th position.
A lot of damage to that 7 truck.
Yeah.
He was in the same situation, Michael. Remember, we talked about it. He didn't have as fresh tires as the majority of the field.
Look at this top 10 right now. Ty Dillon 7th, Stephen Parsons 8th, Ben Rhodes fell back to 9th, and Corey Heim 10th on those scuffed tires they put back on.
Daniel Dye just outside the top 10 and 11th. Connor Hall doing a great job in his debut, right now running in the 12th spot. Zilic is going to pull it behind the wall. Too much damage to continue.
See Brian Patty there walking by and surveying things. Took a chance and it didn't work.
Connor Zilic will next be in the truck at Bristol.
Let's see if we can take a look at what happened. Where you see right there, they're already making contact. That's the 32 of Brett Holmes on the inside and Connor Zilic on the outside, but they were already together, and Zilic was dead sideways.
I think that was loose in for Holmes, and that's just what slid him up into Zilic, and around he went.
Here's another view of it. Was there a little contact maybe from the 77? Possible, just a nudge? From,
maybe a nudge, it looked
from the 77.
So loose in is right.
With help.
With help.
Loose in with help.
That's a lot of damage to that 7 truck.
Just bombing shallow. Half off. Yellow's out. Going outside wall and 2 inside.
We're gonna have a restart inside of 10 laps to go.
Stuart Friesen, you see there, the 52. He's was one of our bubble boys, and he's currently 2 laps down. Joe Shear Jr. is like, I didn't need that caution. Things were going pretty good. Trying another Hail Mary here.
Yeah, I like it.
I do too.
Yep.
Tanner Gray with a different set of tires. Certainly wasn't going anywhere fast.
Fell outside of the top 15. Let's hear from our leader's crew chief, Amanda.
I got over here, Jamie, and Joe Shear Jr. just looked at me and shook his head, and he said, what a day. Ty Majeski has the momentum right now. How do you finish this off, Joe?
Well,
hopefully there's no more cautions, but we've had a good truck. We made bad decision there in the beginning. And we redeemed ourselves, got back with a fast truck, and Ty's doing a great job. So hopefully we get a good restart here and we finish it off.
I love that. You know, what are you going to do? You don't want a caution, and then here comes a caution. And, you know, getting to be down in the pits and watching those guys just sweat things out. I'm really thankful Amanda, Josh are down there on the scene getting those emotions that you see from Joe Shear.
That's what it's all about, especially this race, Michael. You know, there's a lot on the line. You want to head into the playoffs feeling good, strutting your stuff, carrying your head high.
Well, those two are strutting off into the playoffs. What about the guy in third? He's like, give me a chance here. I can go playoff racing. Lane Riggs, short track ace, has put himself in a position to do just that.
You're right. All the drivers around him, top 6, are locked in except for Riggs.
Right behind them, there's Stefan running in the 8th spot. What a great job Chris Carey and his guys have done with this Pop Cells truck.
Yeah, they started off practice today with an engine issue, overheating, and didn't get many laps, and was able to squeeze into the field in qualifying, and now he's driven all the way to the top 10. That's way overachieving after the way the day started.
Yeah, Chris Carey has definitely made that truck better. It was not great. He got lapped earlier, got a free pass, and has this thing up in the top 10. Let's see if he can finish it off.
I'm just impressed with Stefan Parsons and the drivers like him that jump in and out of the truck, not full time. He's a spotter is his regular job, but to be able to stay on top of it, you know, keep that competitive edge, know exactly what he needs with this small team to go compete with the big teams that are there every single week.
Yeah, these guys work extremely hard. Chris Carey, the crew chief, is really the only employee of Henderson Motorsports, but he has some really good people around him that he can lean on when he needs help. They get a lot of help from Spire Motorsports as well, so it's a great opportunity here for Stefan. Hopefully he can finish it off with a good finish.
You see Lane Riggs has chosen the top. He's running in third, but he went up high. That's an interesting strategy. See what he's thinking and how it plays out.
It's going to be 8 to go when we restart.
Here we go, Grant Enfinger on the inside. Who will it be? 8 laps to go at the line. Green flag is in the air. Lane Riggs in the 38 wants to make something happen. Look at Daniel Dye ducking to the inside back there.
Will they make it? 4 wide. And they did. Daniel Dye with a daring move here late in the going.
Oh! Almost a wreck by our leader, Grant Enfinger. He was sideways and he's still sideways.
Lane Riggs says, let's go, boys.
Look at the bumping and banging. Christian Eckes makes up a few spots. Ty Majeski to the point. But don't look now. Look at the 17 of Taylor Gray coming on strong. Already clinched his spot.
Wow. What action. What drama.
My heart rate's up.
And mine is too. Coming to 6 to go.
Ty Majeski, Joe Shear Jr. worked so hard all year. The consistency that team has, the speed they bring every week. They finally get it done at Indianapolis, the last race. I think that's all they really needed. Had a mistake tonight, overcame that, and here they are leading with 6 laps to go.
Now, my heart rate's kind of coming down now because we sorted this thing out. That was a crazy restart. Great action, great driving by these truckers.
Guys, I just wonder, I look at Ty Majeski. Last year he led 168 laps, only to lose it at the end when Carson Hocevar got around him with 4 laps to go. Maybe a little redemption is in his sights.
These guys haven't sorted this second position out yet at all.
So good.
They're hanging on, slipping and sliding and battling. Look at Lane Riggs. He said, I wonder if there's anything up top. I haven't seen anybody up that high yet.
Meanwhile, Ty Dillon hanging on to an 8th spot right now. Daniel Dye has raced his way back into the top 10, and Connor Hall making his Truck Series debut 10th.
Connor's done a great job all night long. He's very competitive.
Ty Majeski, 1 second advantage over Christian Eckes.
Well, Christian kind of used it up the racetrack there a little bit. Pushed Grant up the hill to grab that 2nd spot, side by side for 4th.
These 2 drivers have been so impressive tonight.
Everybody has. It's got their truck straight at this point after that restart.
This race has had a little bit of everything. Strategy, cautions, comers and goers.
You could see once Christian used up Grant a bit, he's been able to drive away from him, so get a little desperate late in the going. That's what Lane Rick is trying to do now, but look where Gray's going, to the bottom.
Grant's been able to make some good time on that outside, coming down for the white flag.
Are they going to go 3 wide?
Sees the white flag right there. They're still beating and banging off each other back there for third.
Majeski wanted to see that white flag. He's looking at his mirror and thinking all those craziness going on. No more cautions, please, as Joe Shear said.
Ty Majeski just dominated this race a year ago. Saw the win in sight, only to lose it. As he makes his way around this racetrack, checker flag in the air. Ty Majeski makes it 2 in a row and wins the season finale.
Hell of a job, buddy. Hell of a job. Nice work there, guys. Good recovery. Good day. Good step in the right direction. Big picture here, guys. Go run for a championship. Thank you, guys. You guys are all badass.
That's what it's all about. Going and running for a championship.
How exciting. The regular season now in the books. The agony of defeat.
Yeah, great effort, though, all year long by Tanner Gray and his team. I know tonight didn't go like he would have liked, but they certainly put the effort in.
Well, think about how much ground he made up. I mean, he was way behind early and not even competitive. Was able to drive up to the 12th position, gave himself a shot at it.
Certainly gave us a great show, something to watch. He stayed in the hunt. I think made Daniel Dye a little bit more nervous than he wanted to be at some points.
This is Mr. Short Track here, isn't it?
Yeah, is this 2 in a row for him?
Yeah.
2 in a row, and guess where we're going next?
His home track.
His home track.
I wouldn't be surprised to make it 3 in a row. Would you, Phil?
Me either. And then Bristol.
Yeah.
He's won at Bristol before. Yeah, this, as you mentioned earlier, this first round really lays out well for Ty Majeski.
Polish victory lap, celebrating the history of Alan Kowicki.
Now Daniel can breathe.
Does that after every win. That's awesome. Daniel Dye, look at the big smile on Danny's face. I mean, I didn't see this coming 6 months ago, Phil. He didn't get off to a great start this season, but man, they turned the corner at some point. He and Blake Bainbridge really have come together, and they have put some fast trucks on the track.
You see Majeski still doing the Polish victory lap, left side of your screen. You know, one thing we didn't mention at IRP, that when Joe Shear won that race, that broke a 3-way tie for second and all-time crew chief wins. And he's going to add another one to it now.
What relief Daniel Dye is feeling right there. Joe Shear and Ty Majeski are just feeling joy from another great win.
Maybe it may be just as happy for that young man on the right side of your screen.
No one's ever did what he did before, right? No one's ever bumped in the last race of the playoffs.
First time ever.
That's an amazing stat.
Ty Majeski, the 29-year-old from Seymour, Wisconsin. Beautiful Polish victory lap. There's his crew. We're just going to have a party right there on the front stretch.
Showed so much patience, though.
Yeah, I liked it a lot, Phil.
You know, again, Michael and I ran out of patience watching him be patient.
It just shows you how smart and how tactful he was in order to understand where he was and how to get where he was going.
And he was very intentional when he decided to turn up the wick.
He went then, didn't he?
Josh Sims, you got a fired up winner in Ty Majeski.
Talk about fired up. Ty Majeski entering the postseason with 2 straight wins to end the regular season. Given the way this race ended for you last year, where you saw it slip away in the final laps, how does that shape the feeling on this victory back here at Richmond?
Well, it feels good. We've had great Thor Sport trucks here at Richmond the last 2 years, found different ways to lose them, and we tried to do it again tonight. Another mistake. We really need to clean that stuff up before playoff time, but so proud of these guys sticking behind me. Soda Sense, local sponsor from my hometown, Seymour, Wisconsin. So cool to see it come full circle. They've been a huge supporter of mine. All our partners, though, Curb Records, Road Ranger, wouldn't be able to do without Duke and Ronda Thorson. They gave me a huge opportunity a few years ago, and I'm having the time of my life racing for this team. Proud of these ThorSport Racing guys. We work so hard at the shop. We're proud to do this from Sandusky, Ohio, and we're going to try and bring another trophy back home.
Ty Majeski, your winner at Richmond. Amanda?
Daniel, I'll tell you the story that the team was telling in the booth. You were the first driver to bump themselves into a playoff, and we were talking earlier today, and you were saying that what you were feeling was the opposite of Christmas morning. What's the emotion now?
Yeah, it feels a lot better than Christmas now. Man, just the hard work these guys have put in, and like I talked a little bit before the race, it's really good to validate myself and the work that I've been putting in to change up what I've been doing. And oh man, it's so cool to have our champion container 43 in the playoffs. I'm whooped. Like, it wasn't easy. It's not an easy racetrack, but just proud of everybody. Everybody's been working so hard and trying to keep me under control and not too freaked out. So man, proud to be here. This is a racetrack I didn't like last year, and I don't like Milwaukee either, but we're headed to Milwaukee. Let's go do it.
Jamie?
Well, I would give the most improved driver award to Daniel
Without a
Dye
doubt.
for
Without
this
a doubt.
season. There's Tanner Gray. A valiant effort. They worked through some things, weren't thrilled all night long, didn't give up, closed that gap. It was so close. Didn't we see it was about a point?
1 point. 1 point.
So here it is, the playoff leaderboard. The round of 10 moving on. We'll have a weekend off. We'll race at Milwaukee.
Look at Corey Heim, all those wins and the stage wins. Daniel Dye said, boy, we made the playoffs and we're 40 points behind before we even tee it up at Milwaukee.
Let's break that to him tomorrow, Phil. It's too good of a night for him to roll out.
All
that
right, let's
now.
go. We'll hold it. We'll hold that back.
Chris Schneckes, as we noted earlier, picked up the regular season championship, so good night for them. And he fought to the very end. They were bumping and banging. That was incredible, especially the last 10 laps.
Maybe we tell Daniel Dye he's only 8 points out of top 5. You know?
There you go. Remember, it's only we're going to only trim 2 of them off.
We're
So.
only going to lose 2, so he's in a good spot.
Let's hear from Tanner Gray. Amanda.
Tanner, you came into this last race of the regular season in that bump stop ahead of Daniel Dye. You know you've been battling through this entire evening. You said you have to grind through it. I see you taking this in. What are your thoughts right now?
We just weren't good enough. All day we just didn't have the speed, didn't have the balance, and I didn't do a good enough job. So really frustrated, and I don't know. When you come into a race where you're on the cut like this, like, you just got to be better, and we weren't tonight. So congrats to Daniel. They were better, and they were better coming down the stretch when it mattered. So we just made too many mistakes overall throughout the season, just too sloppy. So we got to clean it up, and I got to clean up a lot of things on my end, and yeah, we just need to be better.
Josh?
Well, Christian Eckes wraps up the regular season championship and a much better performance at Richmond, a runner-up finish than you've had here in the past. How is this team feeling confidence-wise now heading into the postseason?
Yeah, confidence is high for sure. I feel like we're in a better position than we were last year, and I thought we were in a pretty good position last year too. So, yeah, just overall proud of the team. We didn't have quite what we needed today. I was just way too tight all race, but overall proud of everybody, and yeah, just ready to get these next 7 races underway.
How important is that regular season championship for this 19 team?
Yeah, the points are good for sure. I've said it multiple times today. I've missed it by, I think, 4 points last year, then 6 points the year before. So any kind of points you can get is definitely crucial when you get to those final rounds. So, yeah, excited about that, but more excited to get this underway.
Christian Eckes, your regular season champion. Amanda?
And your defending winner of last year, the champion in the 2023 season, gets an opportunity to do it yet again. And Ben, you told me earlier today that you thought you had a top 10 truck. You wanted a top 5 truck. How did tonight meet your expectations?
Yeah, it certainly met them. unfortunately, there at the end, we kind of got shuffled back on a pit cycle, and when some of those guys really had a shot at the win, we weren't there to capitalize on it, so we had to kind of come back through the field. But that was the story all night. We fought inside the top 5 all night long, and then some of these restarts, we get shuffled back, we work our way back forward. But all in all, our Nashville Stampede Ford F-150 was pretty quick tonight. I'm happy with the improvements of our team, and it's not our first rodeo, so we're going to make another run at a championship.
Josh?
Here with Taylor Gray and the stash, the postseason stash was here early, but you book your way through to the playoffs. What does it mean to do that in your first full-time season in the trucks?
Yeah, it's a lot. I wish we could have done it last year. Obviously, different circumstances, things like that. But it means a lot, especially these guys. I mean, they work their butts off every week and every day. So it's really for them. And now it's time for me and Jeff to sit down and go race for a championship.
We talk about the way things will change in the playoffs, the intensity ramping up. How are you preparing now to handle that as you head into your first postseason run?
I think just honestly just keeping the mindset cool, right, and kind of brushing things off the shoulder, not getting too antsy about certain things, and being able to, rebound from bad races quickly.
Taylor Gray says he's channeling his inner Brett Moffitt with that mustache, Amanda.
Grant, you were at the top of this field for a lot of those laps. I think it was 98 was the total of laps led. You are racing in a playoff for the first time for the year with this team. How proud are you of this team?
I've been proud of us all for the last 8 or 9 races. We've unloaded good. Jeff unloaded with a really good Grant County Motor Chevrolet today. Feel like after that second pit stop, he made the right adjustments. Feel like we had, a truck capable of winning. I think on equal tires, equal restart, I felt really good about our chances. Think Jeff made the right calls. Just overall, we kind of got knocked around there with 20 to go or whatever happened on that restart. Felt like I gave him plenty of room and got ran into, tore our left side up, and after that just really struggled for rear grip. So don't know if that was all aero or if we did some damage to the truck mechanically as well. But yeah, definitely very, very proud of the speed that Jeff has brought to the track. Proud of our alliance with McAnally, those guys. Charles and Christian, has been fun to run with those guys and to bring some stuff to the table and also help each other. So it's been great. Now we got 7 to go, and I feel like we're building momentum at the right time. So thank you to Chevrolet, thank you to Champion Power Equipment, and thank you to everybody at the Grant County Motor family. And now it's time to go playoff racing.
Josh?
Well, Tyler Ankrum, another top 10 finish, top 10 in every short track race this season. What does that feat say for you and this team and its confidence heading into the playoffs?
Well, thankfully there's a lot of short tracks in the playoffs. No, we had a pretty good truck tonight. It wasn't a winning truck, but I felt like we pretty much finished where we should have. I'm just proud of all my guys at MHR to get us in the playoffs their first year with this team, and all the work that we had to do throughout the summer and all the bad luck that we had. We were able to pull through it. It feels pretty amazing to be back, to be honest. I've always felt like I was a playoff driver, and so for me to be back in my full strength and with, I feel like, all the confidence in the world, I was just telling Mark, we keep on running top 5, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Man, we're going to get a couple wins here, and I feel like we're going to be there for Phoenix.
Ankrum back in the playoffs for the first time since 2020, Amanda.
And Josh, Corey Heim picked up 5 wins in the regular season, and now we switch focus into these playoffs. Who is Corey Heim as a playoff driver?
Hopefully elevated from where we were. I feel like these last 2 races have been a little bit of a slump for us. I mean, we've had 5th to 6th place speed, but our standards are to go and try to win every race. So I felt like we had a shot tonight. Obviously just got the caution in the wrong place at the wrong time, but really proud of Scott Zipadelli for trying to make a good call, and I was on the same page as him. Just didn't feel like we were in a position to win, and we wanted to go and try to chase it. So to answer your question, I feel like we're going to be really good. We got a lot of playoff points, more than last year, and I'm ready.
Josh?
Rajah Kruth heading into the playoffs for the first time in your career. How are you feeling about this upcoming playoff run coming off this performance out here tonight?
Yeah, I think we just kind of frustrating to finish there to the end of the night. But I'm just really proud of my HendrickCars.com group. We haven't been improving. I've been trying to improve at short tracks, and it just didn't work in our favor with the cautions and the tire strat. But I think going into the playoffs, I feel really good about going to Bristol, Kansas, Homestead, some really good tracks for me. I know trucks have speed, so thanks to Mr. H, Miss Linda, all the men and women at Spire and Team Chevy for supporting me, and I think we can go make some hay, later into the fall.
Rajah Kruth, part of a really competitive field heading into the playoffs, Jamie.
Well, thank you, Josh and Amanda. Great effort by you, hearing from all of our playoff drivers. We heard from everyone except for Nick Sanchez, and that's because he had that issue. He exited the race earlier, so he wasn't back out on pit road. Meanwhile, the celebration in Victory Lane.
How do you like those hats? Do, 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 do. Does that look like Devo to y'all?
They need to start a dance right now.
I got to tell you, my takeaway from tonight's race, we've talked about Christian Eckes and Corey Heim all year long. Ty Majeski said, you better add another cat to the conversation about who's the favorite to win this championship. He's rolling right at the right time of year.
Two in a row and could be 3 when we go to Milwaukee. Great track for him. Great effort by a lot of these people. Now they can relax for a couple of weeks. The guys that made the playoffs, they can relax. And the guys that didn't, now they can just go race for wins.
That's right, guys. We're going playoff racing. Next race up, Milwaukee, 4 p.m. Eastern, August 24th. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. For all of us here at Fox Sports, good night. I am Kevin Harvick. Coming up next.
This copyrighted telecast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or used in any form without the authorized written consent of NASCAR Broadcasting. NASCAR would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.